The legislature meets every odd-numbered year for up to 90 working days to enact new laws or amend or repeal existing laws. The House of Representatives is made up of 100 representatives from districts around the state who are elected for 2-year terms, and the Senate is made up of 50 senators elected to 4-year terms. This year in Montana, Republicans swept every statewide and federal race, increasing their majority in the state House by 10 seats. Historically, Montanans are known for split-ticket voting, where people judge a candidate more on their character than their party affiliation. Montana politics has always been unique. Look at Wilmot Collins, a Liberian refugee who's the mayor of Helena. Both Democrats and Republicans voted for him.
But down in the tiny capital of Helena, they just made history.
Wilmot Collins narrowly defeated longtime incumbent Mayor Jim Smith,
electing the first black mayor in the state's entire history.
You're a Trump supporter who voted for an African refugee.
Absolutely, I love Wilmot.
Montana politics is changing, however, and I wanted to interview Representative Ed Stafman, who is a freshman legislator from Bozeman. Commonly known as Rabbi Ed, he worked as a civil rights attorney in Florida, and after some 25 years of law practice, he became a rabbi working in Bozeman, Montana. I talked with him about his community of Democrats within the legislature, as well as the challenges he is facing.
I mean, there's not one community ever, right? There's multiple communities. But the main community, I would say, is the other Democratic legislators who largely share the same values, not 100%. And especially this session where we're so grossly outnumbered, where there's more of a sense of solidarity because all of us have been treated really poorly and unfairly at one time or another. And so we need one another, not just for political reasons, but to support one another emotionally and spiritually in a time when there's a lot of meanness coming from the other side and gratuitous evil. My experience is that the great bulk of the time, people's minds are made up, and mostly along political lines, and that the process is there to give input, and occasionally you do change someone's mind. I could think of a couple of bills where that's actually happened, but mostly people are very wed to their ideologies, and that's going to control things. I mean, you know, I spent 25 years as a lawyer. I've litigated constitutional cases at every level of court in the United States. I've taught constitutional law to law students and lawyers at different times. There are people who know more about constitutional law than I do, for sure, but I think I probably know more than any of the legislators.
Yes.
And there's one legislator who thinks he knows more than me because he was on his high school debate team. And I don't know what to say about that.
Do you believe there's anything working well in the legislature right now?
Not if you're a Democrat. No, I mean, we have killed a few bills.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we can do is try to form coalitions. And not all Republicans are like I just described. The great majority are, in the legislature, I mean. The great majority are. But there are people who on particular issues, plenty of them, who are reasonable, and we try to form coalitions with them on particular issues. But it's really hard when you're outnumbered 67 to 33. The great bulk of the stuff that I see has nothing to do with the needs of the community, nothing to do with jobs. I'm still waiting. We're halfway through. I haven't seen the first bill that's going to create jobs. I haven't seen the first bill that's going to build infrastructure. I haven't seen the first bill that's going to give people better health care. All I see are socially divisive bills. There are different power structures. I mean, within the Democratic coalition, apart from our overall group, I mean, we have the Native American caucus, which makes up, I don't know, a quarter, not quite a quarter, a fifth of the Democrats. And, you know, we're almost always together, but there are issues that are unique to them, and which I happen to always support. But that is a slightly different power structure within our group, right? And then within the Republican Party, you know, I'm not as familiar with it because I'm not on the inside, but there are definitely factions. But I've never been treated so meanly before, with evil intent by some, and that's new to me. And I'm trying to adjust to how does one react to that. So when I go into a new endeavor, I try to find a biblical verse that will guide me. And when I started, I thought about the verse from Esther, the book of Esther, where the Jewish princess ends up married to the king and ends up saving the Jewish people from a decree that would have killed them all. And the line is, who knows, maybe it's for a time like this that God placed her there. And I thought that was my line. Maybe there was going to be something that happened that God placed me there to deal with this one thing. But I realized that was a bit of arrogance on my part. And I've changed to a different verse. And that verse says, when you arrive in a city where there are no human people, you be a human person.
So what is your goal moving forward for the last half of the session, if you know that facts don't matter and that ideology is the only way that people are making decisions?
So there are several goals. You know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I don't remember her exact quote, but she was in dissent a lot. And a dissent is important. You know, there's got to be a dissenting voice, or else it's even worse. So mostly I'll be the dissenting voice, and I hope to be the voice of conscience, even if it's not recognized. I'm also, as a freshman, learning. I think about this as, you know, you get 4 sessions. I hope I get to do 4 sessions. But the first one, it's so different from anything else you've ever done that it's like the preseason in a sports team. You don't play the preseason in order to win. You play the preseason to hone your skills for when the season starts. So hopefully next session will be better.
So if you had to tell a story about this session and your experience within it, what would that be?
No. It might be the one I told you earlier about having been having gotten used to losing but never being treated so badly. You know, my first bill got beat, not because of anything in the bill, but just because I'm a Democrat on the floor. And the guy who beat it was seen in the back of the room afterwards, chuckling and laughing, saying, I beat his first bill. I killed his first bill.
Montana politics is changing, and I hope the communities within the state legislature can focus on building community to ensure equity and harmony for all Montanans.
In the religious world, there's 2 terms that are often confused. One of which is optimism, and the other is hope. So optimism is the desire that things will get better. Hope is the willingness to put in work so that things will get better.